Welcome to a video of Volkswagen EOS 2.0 TDi 07 Reg Sport. Just thought I'd put this video together to give a view. So I've just been taking some photos of the car, but I just thought it was worth putting this video together. Sorry, I'm not parked in a brilliant spot. Put this video together just to give some sort of impression of what the car is like to drive. So I will go ahead and do that now. Just having a look around inside to put the cover for the roof so you can have it covered or open. There's the sat nav. Right, let's fire it up. So we've got 2 of these keys included with the car. Just say it's been an excellent car. Flip key, don't know why it's not focusing on that. There we go. So we put it into the ignition and turn it. So there you go. Actually, I'll do that again with the camera running. Put it into the ignition, turn it, Volkswagen information system, you get all the check lights come on. There we go. So I've averaged 42.5 miles per gallon recently. I generally average that. I averaged over 50 to the gallon driving up to Scotland. Then I start the car. That's it. Totally cool, no problems. As you can see there, done 134,000 miles, just over. So I'm using it every day, so it'll go up slightly. So you got engine temperature there, it's just below normal. It's always solid on 90. It's just it's been stationary for a while I've been taking pictures. So there we go. So its range is 115 miles because it's quite low, well, relatively low on fuel. So I'll just turn the fans off so that in case that's interfering with the audio. So this trip is 1,301 miles. The average speed has been 27 miles per hour, so you can see it's not been a high speed trip. You can set a speed warning to give you a bong if you go over a certain speed. I don't do that, find that annoying. Taxi drivers tend to do that. This is the duration of this trip. So you can flip between, so 1 gives you the current trip, which is just the current journey that it works out. So you just tap on the button here to switch. So I don't know why it's not focusing there. Right, it's not focusing. So you can tap the button underneath if you're familiar. So this goes up and down, this switches function. So that's the sort of reset the journey. It does tend to reset every periodically. I find it doesn't run forever. I think it's at 1,000 miles or something. And that's the current journey. So there we go. So I've averaged just on this short trip up the hill to take some photos 38 miles per gallon, but 42 is my average overall. Range 120 miles. Trip journey, average speed, speed warning. I think I've been through those all. I generally leave it on MPG. You can also, if you're on 1, you can get an instantaneous MPG. So if I rev it there, well, actually, because we're not moving, there's going to be no MPG, and there's a 38.3, as I said, average for the trip. So if I average it there, it's a very quiet, refined engine, unlike the 1.9 TDi you may have read about. What else have we got? So we've got a stereo here, which I turned off for the video, so I turn it on. I don't tend to use the sat nav because I've got a TomTom app on my iPhone. I usually have the cradle mounted here, but that's been taken off. So we've got the stereo here. It's got radio, CD. So there's a CD multi-changer in the glove compartment here, so it just flips up, and you got 6 discs you just mount. You can eject. So again, I tend to play MP3s because the Parrot kit that's installed has Bluetooth. God, the sun is vicious. I thought I would take the pictures today because it was nice and sunny, but it's so vivid it makes it actually difficult to take pictures. I'll just silence the radio. So we've got radio here, CD. You can do mute, which obviously mutes. You can go to navigation, so that gives you your map. There we go, so that's our location. As I said, I've not used that because I use my TomTom, but it has it. The map is on a CD that's mounted in the dash here. So that's Blaupunkt via Michelin. navigation. You can't play audio CDs in there. I've tried. You can only play audio CDs through the multi-changer. This operates the roof, which I will show you the roof working, but I'm not going to drive with the roof down because the audio will be a bit knackered. There's a little ashtray here. Car's never been smoked in. So there's a button here to disable the traction control and set the tire pressure warning. So you do that anytime you put air in the tires, or if you change the tires, you just hold that down, resets, and that'll warn you if one of your tires is spinning at a different speed or whatever. So it warns you if you got a puncture. Generally, I've never had a puncture in this car, so I've not seen it in action, but that's the idea. You've got DSG here, so you got reverse, so it'll beep there because it's got the parking sensors, reverse, neutral, drive, sport mode, and you can flip it across and you can do plus minus to switch between gears, and I'll show you where you are there. Put it into drive, sport mode, neutral, reverse, and park. Obviously, good thing to put it in when you're parked. There's controls here for the heated seats, so you flip these up and down. These are really, really good, these heated seats. That's the passenger, driver, air conditioning on, because the fans are off. There we go. So that's air conditioning on and off. I think this is a remote control receiver, and I believe you can get some kind of remote control for the stereo, but it was an optional extra and I don't have it, so I don't know whether you can add that. This is the parrot controls mounted here, so it unclips and it just clips in there. So that controls the parrot unit that's over the other side here, and the microphone for the parrot is nicely concealed up here above the rear view mirror. So you don't see it when you're driving normally, but it is up there and it's in a good position to pick up the audio. What else we got? So right, apologies about that. I hit the pair with Wi-Fi button on my camera, so it decided to go off and try and pair with my phone so that I could do remote shooting and whatever, which I'm not interested in doing right now. So you get a button here, so you can put them both on, both off, individual on, off, individual on, off. These also open when you open the doors. If I open the doors, they come on. If I close the doors, they go off. As I said, we've got the control here. I'll show you the sunroof now. So you push that. Apologies, I hit that button again. I will edit this together and make it somewhat professional. So, show you the sunroof. So you push it, and that gives you that's one touch. So you just press it once on the control down here and it tilts. If you hold it down, oh sorry, I've closed it again. That's tilt, press it again, so hands free. It opens, and it's a very nice big panoramic sunroof. So I realise I'm sitting outside a car dealer doing this video, outside a Land Rover dealer, Chipperfield. So you pull it towards, and again hands free, it'll go back to a tilted position, and pull it again and it closes. That's it. And as I said, you can pull this across, but I tend to never put this across because it's not a cold car at all, and it's nice and airy in here. You've got all the windows pretty much pillarless, which is something I really like about this car because I'm quite a tall guy, and the pillar doesn't interfere with your view. So you got panoramic view to the side, very clear view at this front. Got the viewer top above, so you can see the sky. What else? The glove compartment, not very exciting, but it does have the connectors for the parrot in here. So there's a USB connector, so you plug in a USB stick, a 3.5mm jack, and an old-fashioned iPhone T connector, which works because I've got an iPhone 4S, so it works with that. It'll work any iPhone up to the 4S. And you've got the screen here, which is probably difficult to make it. Yeah, so you can tap on the menu and go through the functions. It's also got Bluetooth, so it'll pair an SD slot. So behind the screen there's an SD card. So I do usually have my SD in here with music on. It'll play MP3 and I think AAC files, but it also just works. So if I just sorry, this isn't very well planned. Bear with me. You can fast forward a little bit if you want. So I get my phone out, so it's not connected to anything. Get my phone out, find some non-embarrassing music. So what? Oh, I'm gonna struggle. So take that, see, this is my wife's tune. So I tap take that, and there we go. It's paired with the Parrot, and it's playing through the speakers in the car, because that's not coming from the phone. And we got speakers everywhere, so the speakers at the top of the door, the bottom of the door, the back in there. I think that's it. And you can also then pause it and resume it from the Parrot, or you can pause it and resume it on the iPhone. You can adjust the volume on the iPhone, or you can adjust the volume on the Parrot. So that works well. That's probably been the worst demonstration of Bluetooth audio that you've ever seen. But it is what it is, and I make no apologies for not being a brilliant presenter. Also got cruise control here, which as I mentioned in the ad, that was very difficult to find an EOS with this trim, with the red interior, with cruise control, but this one has it. So you just flip the little thing there, and it turns it on, so it tells you that it's on, off, on, and then you just hit, if you're driving along and it's not set, you can just hit either resume or set to set it. If you have set it, then the resume will resume if you've interrupted it for some reason. So you can interrupt it by either just half pushing the off, or by touching any of the pedals. Actually, if you accelerate, it'll let you go above the speed, and then you'll drop back to the cruise control speed. Set will, if you cancel it, set will reset it to the new speed. Resume will resume back to where you were. If that makes sense, if you understand cruise control. What else? It's got the larger display here, which I showed you earlier. So I know a lot of cars have a half height one. This one's got the full height one. It gives you can set like the courtesy indicator thing. So you just push it half down like that, and it gives you 3 flashes. And you can configure the number of flashes. You can set it to 1 flash, 2 flash, up to 5 flashes, I think, just from a half push. And I know I don't like the BMW indicators that don't actually stay down, because that was one of my bugbears with new BMW. Oh god, I'm confusing the car behind me. That was one of the bugbears with BMWs for me, the new ones, that the indicators don't actually stay down. You just push them and they flash, and push them and they flash. This one's kind of the best of both worlds, and you can actually even turn it off if you don't like it, all through the menu. But you can push and do the courtesy, so if you're just changing lanes or whatever, you don't need to push it down, wait, then push it back. Not a big deal, but just a nice thing, and I do find I miss it when I drive other cars. What else? This also has TMC, I think, see, which you can turn on. It's got 2 tuners. Don't know anything about that, but it has it. I've never used it. It's some sort of traffic master thing. In the glove compartment, thing I found today when I was cleaning the car, you can turn off the airbag here, but there's also this little vent here that you can open and close. And don't know if this is standard, but you can open it and it turns the glove compartment into a cool box. So if you've got the air conditioning running, and you put a can of juice or whatever in the glove compartment, which isn't usually somewhere I'd put it, you put it in the glove compartment with this open, and it opens a little hole through to the ventilation system, so it chills what's in the glove compartment. And it's a very nice big glove compartment as well, and it's got space there for the handbook as well. So I do have the handbook, but it's not in there at the moment. Doesn't have the actual official climate control, but not trying to kind of cover up for a deficiency, I prefer the manual controls. I don't like the little, oh, is it 19.5, is it 21, and the dual zone climate control, and you're always fighting with your partner to try and get the temperature. This one's nice and simple. I like less to go wrong, just simple dials, bang bang bang. I like that every time. This airs or recirculation, heated rear windscreen, all works. Right, you probably want to see me drive. Actually, now the time to mention I don't have a license. Only kidding. What else? I don't know. I've turned into a very strange person. So there's also the ejector here for the fuel flap. Open the boot. Adjust the mirrors. It's got heated mirrors as well. So you do adjust right, adjust nothing, adjust left, and heat. So it's actually unheated, which it doesn't need to be today, so I'll turn it off. This drops all the windows, so you hold this down and it drops all the windows all the way around and raises them all back up again. And then you can individually just one touch drop the driver's window, bring it back up. Yeah, the rears aren't one touch, the two fronts are one touch. This locks everything, unlocks everything. Nice button I found quite late in the day under here. This button, when you have the car turned off, it's in the glove around here. This turns off the proximity, the interior alarm thing. So if you're leaving a pet or a child or whatever in the car for a short period of time, and you don't want the alarm activated when you lock the car, that disables the interior. There's also a little cubby under here where I keep receipts generally, and I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a relay that was just hanging down. Yeah, so there's a 12 volt socket here in this little cubby, and there's another 12 volt in the rear that flips open there, and a little cubby there. So I showed you the armrest earlier, so that's adjustable. You can lock it different heights. It also pulls forward. It looks ugly when you pull it forward, so I don't like that, but some people could cope with that probably, but I can't. It goes down like that. Generally keep changing there. Mention the seats. So they've got electric lumbar control on both sides. They're manual other than that, which I like because I've had problems with electric seats going wrong in the past, which was never cheap or straightforward to fix because you always have to find a specialist who understands them. Also got both sides, driver and passenger, vanity mirrors with the lights. Again, very nice. Didn't have that in my E46 BMW 3 Series convertible that I used to have, so I like that. Also got metal door pulls, which I like, because BMWs have plastic on the BMWs I've been in, which I didn't like. Again, nice touch. Right, I'm going to take a drive. So, just going to put the camera on the dash. Apologies if you get seasickness or whatever. I'll try to be as smooth as I can. So handbrake off, just waiting for this car to pass me, put it in drive, and courtesy, 3 flashes, and off we go. Right, so we're driving. Yeah, it's a car doing 30 miles an hour. It's smooth. There's no knocks, no rattles, no squeaks. It's what you'd expect from a VW. Excellent build quality. As you can see from the pictures, the seats are in immaculate condition. No signs of wear. I mean, they don't look, you know, brand new, but there's no signs of wear. The rear seats look like they've never been sat in. The passenger seat pretty much looks like it's never been sat in. As I mentioned in the ad, the previous owner who did most of the 130,000 miles, she did like 127,000 I think, thought that was all just her commuting back and forward to work up and down the motorway. So very light use of the car, no real use of the brakes or the steering, you know, particularly. She was, what age would she have been? She was in her 40s, so she was a cam non-boy racer type. So what else? So we're going down a little hill here. So it's a very powerful car. So, you know, I had reservations about a diesel convertible, but it's a very quiet, refined engine. You forget it's a diesel, other than when you cold start it in the morning and you get a bit of gung 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 gung. Other than that, you would forget that you're in a diesel. It's fast. I mean, my car before this, I've had many cars, but my car immediately before this was a 1989 BMW 635 Motorsport. So that was, you know, that was a proper sports car, and this car easily outperforms it. You know, this is really a fast car. You know, it's not, you know, it's not a Maserati or a Ferrari, but it's you never hesitate to overtake. It's always got effortless power to overtake. It's always quiet, always refined. The gearbox, the 6-speed DSG, is very well matched to this engine. I think, again, I mentioned in the ad that the later DSGs are a 7-speed, and I forget which is which, but one's a wet sump and one's a dry sump. And I know that the 7-speed ones are less reliable. Speed bump. The 7-speed ones are less reliable They're more complicated. The clutch packs in them are much more expensive to replace. The labour costs of having them replaced is higher, and they need generally is consensus. So this isn't just my opinion. This is what I read, and I read it after I bought the car, because you know, anytime you buy a car with high-ish mileage, you think about the transmission, especially if it's an automatic. You think about the transmission, because that's one of the most expensive things that could go wrong. But the 6-speed DSG, which they still use in the vans, so the T5 and I think the T6 is out now, the vans still use the 6-speed, but they went to the 7-speed in their cars to get better fuel economy, because obviously the 7-speed gives them better fuel economy on the motorway, but it is less reliable and there's a lot more issues. And I know it's obviously there'll be teething problems with the new one, but the consensus is that the 6-speed is a lot better. Sorry, I brought you a fairly poor route with lots of speed bumps, which is not very conducive to showing performance. It is showing that the suspension functions, much as the council would like to destroy the suspension on every car with these speed bumps. Yeah, so I hope this has given you an impression of how the car drives. It's very quiet, the exhaust is absolutely perfect. So I said no advisories. So the camera's going a bit sideways. Try and show you something of some interest. So no advisories on the MOT. So it was MOT'd yesterday. And as I said in the ad, the comment from the technician, so no prompting from me, didn't mention that I was selling the car or anything. He said he couldn't believe how clean it was underneath, and for its year, he said it was great. And then when he looked at the mileage, he said, "Is that mileage right? That's, you know, this doesn't look like a car that's done 130,000 miles." And I said, "Yeah, I know." I said it's just been, you know, one previous owner before me, always looked after. I think she garaged it, I believe. Don't quote me, but I believe. Sorry, I think I just hit the maximum amount of time that I'm allowed to record a video there, and it just switched itself off. Yeah, so I believe the vehicle was garaged previously. I don't have a garage, but I'll be keeping it on my private driveway or in my works car park. And I've not done a tremendous number of miles in the vehicle this year because I've actually been working abroad for a lot of this year, which was unplanned. So I've been using the car on weekends, but not using it at all during the week, which has meant that the mileage hasn't really gone up significantly at all. The main mileage came from the 3 trips I did. Drove it up to Scotland, took it over to Dublin, and I took it to Italy. So did a tour around Germany, Austria, Italy, France, came back through Belgium and Holland. Car was faultlessly there. I had it up to about 120 on the Autobahn, no problems at all. Just hit the cruise control and I was going along 120 miles an hour with all the BMWs and Mercs, no problems. And it was brilliant. You know, this is a very practical car in the winter, because it's the first convertible I've had that I've used through the winter, and I've not, you know, kind of regretted. I've not had it. It's not steamed up. It's not been cold. It's not been damp. It's easy to wash because it's like a normal car. You don't have the special treatment for the fabric top. I mean, only slight negative of the tin tops, obviously, that it takes up the majority of the boot when it's folded down, but not the entire boot. So there is still a reasonable space underneath, and I have in the past loaded a. Sorry. Yeah, I have in the past. Sorry, I don't know why I'm bringing you in here. I was just looking for somewhere to stop. Oh dear me. Right. Right, sorry, we'll try that again. I thought I was getting up to the A41, but the way I've come round doesn't lead there. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's a very practical car all year round because it's got proper, very good rear visibility, because it's a big glass, you know, it's a big glass rear window, so proper visibility. good. It's got proper electric demist on the rear, so no issues with the rear demisting. I did have a 6 Series, a BMW 6 Series convertible that had a tiny rear window that was pointless. It might as well just been solid fabric for the visibility it gave you. A letterbox. So you can use it all year round. It's great in the summer. You can drop the top. It's not like other convertibles, obviously going back a few years, but other convertibles I've had where there's a hard top you have to take off and leave it at home, and it takes up a lot of space when you store it. So you pretty much have a hard top, and a hard top that's retractable without the negatives of fabric or the storage negatives of a separate hard top. And it's got a sunroof as well, which I think is the only vehicle with a folding metal hardtop that actually has a sunroof as well, which is brilliant. That's again one of the I love sunroofs, and in this country you tend to appreciate your sunroof a lot more than you ever get to appreciate having the top down. So yeah, so I have the combination of having a sunroof and a tin top convertible is just fabulous. And when we had it in the south of France and in Italy, it was excellent driving it around there. Anyway, right, let's give it a bit of gas. So actually not too much gas because it's a 40. So yeah, that's it. Any questions, send them over via eBay. Any test is welcome. I'm happy, obviously, to do viewings. I would recommend doing a viewing. Obviously, if you're going to buy the car, it is listed elsewhere, so I reserve the right to end the auction early. But at the same time, I'm in absolutely no rush to sell. The weather's just improving, so I'm looking forward. Especially today's beautiful. I had the top down earlier. Brilliant. You know, short notice, just put it down, and again, easily you can take it back up within a few seconds. Oh, actually, where will I stop? I will show you the top going down before we finish. There's a car park up here. Let me just show you that. Right, I had a bit of a mishap there. Camera went flying. I will edit that out to preserve my what dignity is left after making this film. So this is the control for the top. Oh, actually, right, I'll show you the whole process. So if I get out, actually, I'll walk you around the car. So engine's running. You can see all the wheels. It's got a bit muddy. I've just washed it this morning. It's got a bit muddy driving it through this car park. So there you go, there's where the tow bar is, and there'll be pictures with the tow bar fitted and removed. Tow bar fits in the boot. Right, so to put the top down, you need to pull this little cover down in the boot. So you use a nice VW badge handle to open it. So if we get in here, I'll just show you that's the toolkit where the tow bar and everything is. It's all nicely flipped under here. So you pull this cover down, that's it. So you put that down in the boot. So you still have all of this space here with so that's still accessible when the top's down, all of this. So the top just sits in here above this compartment. So you can leave stuff in the boot confident that as long as this goes down and clips in place, that you have no problems. So you close the boot, and then unfortunately there's no remote to open the top. I think you can fit a kit to do that, but I'll have to I'll try to show you. So you push it down, you get convertible top operation. Sunroof goes back. Stuff starts moving around. I've never actually really seen this from outside the car. So bits start moving around. And the boot lid flips back down. And that's it. And then the windows go up automatically, but if you stop when it beeps, they stay down. And that's it, convertible. Top is down. It's very neat, there's no tonneau cover or anything like that. These little guys flip. But it's all smooth and flat. And it looks great in my opinion. And then if you have a look in the boot, just opens as before, there's the top in there. So it's folded in there, but you've still got within this compartment all of this space. And that's the little through loading hatch. So you may see some artistic type pictures. So this just flips open. Actually, I'll show you. So in the back here for larger loads, you just pop that open and this leather bit comes out. And then you push, I think do you pull that or push that? Oh, actually, sorry, apologies. You can't use the through loader when the top's down. So I'll show you it now. So I'll put the... No, actually, there's no reason it shouldn't open. Right there, let me try that again. Take that out. Ah, you just push that, sorry, apologies. There's a little button up here you push to release it. So that's the through loader open. So you've got right all the way from the front through and out the back of the boot. You've got the through loading capability even with the top down. So you go all the way through. So I have used that in the past for like bits of wood from DIY store, things like that. You can have it all the way up, and with the top down. And again, I've never done any heavy industrial kind of work in this car, but I have had bits of wood, like, you know, above the roof, things like that. It is very flexible for carrying things around, more flexible than you'd imagine. Yeah, there we go. Right, I'll set the camera down. Actually, I won't. That's not really going to work. There's nowhere to put it. There we go. That's it, and we'll put the top back up. I'll film this as best I can, but I'm going to get stabbed by the roof at some point. So I will have to mind out of the way. That's it. There we go. I'll show you underneath. I'm not sure I took many pictures underneath. So there's the exhaust there. It's all covered by a tree. And that's it. Thank you for watching.